Biden is planning to visit Israel on Wednesday as concerns are growing for the 13 Americans still missing and how many could be among the 199 people being held hostage by Hamas. We just don't know at this hour. Secretary of State Antony Blinken, who's now in Israel, says a key goal for this trip will also be stopping the war from spreading.
President Biden will underscore our crystal clear message to any actor, state or non-state, trying to take advantage of this crisis to attack Israel. Don't.
Now, this comes as more than 2,000 U.S. troops have reportedly been told to be ready to deploy to the Middle East, but not in a combat role. Let's bring in former White House National Security Advisor under President Trump, Ambassador John Bolton. Ambassador, good to see you. Let's get to President Biden's trip in just a second. If I could first get your take on some breaking news. We're just getting into the newsroom in the last 10 minutes. It does now officially seem as though Egypt won't be letting in refugees at that Rafah crossing. Jordan's king just saying in a press conference that is a red line because I think that is the plan by certain of the usual suspects to try and create de facto issues on the ground. No refugees in Jordan, no refugees in Egypt. Ambassador, your response to that, and does Egypt have blood on its hands?
Well, I think this is a position that Egypt and Jordan have taken before, and I think it's reflective of other positions of governments in the Arab world. They don't want to deal with the Palestinians under Hamas any more than Israel does. It's a great tragedy for the Palestinian people, but I certainly understand Egypt's concern. Hamas is a wholly owned subsidiary of the Muslim Brotherhood, which has threatened Egypt repeatedly in the past 10 or 20 years. And to admit the Hamas leadership and fighters into Egypt, which is what would happen if there were mass refugee flows out of the Gaza Strip, could endanger Egypt. The fact is, this problem is not an Israeli problem. This is a problem that's been created over decades, and nobody wants to deal with it. It's not something you can simply blame Israel for.
I know a lot of people certainly, though, disappointed that it sounds like that crossing will not be open. Let's pivot back to the president's trip. There's a lot on the line here for President Biden during this visit, and he'll want to walk away from this trip with results, right? So as not to seem like another international photo op. If you were advising him at this time, what should his top priority be?
Well, I'm not sure I would schedule the president into a war zone and announce it in advance. If this is to show support for Israel, then we can only applaud it. But I have a feeling that in the background there's a hidden agenda, which is to try and delay, postpone, limit the Israeli incursion into Gaza. And it's on the president's schedule as well, right after meetings in Israel. He'll go on to Amman, Jordan, to meet with Arab leaders who are certainly going to give him their opinions on trying to avoid Israel going in. This is part of a larger picture here, and I don't think the administration understands it. I don't consider what happened on October the 7th to be a Hamas attack on Israel. I consider it to be an Iranian attack on Israel through its surrogate Hamas. And what the president should discuss with the Arab leaders is how to work together to contain the Iranian threat. I have a feeling, though, that's not what they're going to talk about.
Yeah, we've seen all the reports that say Iran certainly has been, kind of backing this incursion for up to a year before this happened, with weapons, with training, et cetera. When you talk about Israel going in, we've been waiting on the cusp here for this ground invasion for what seems like days now. There's been questions of why it's taken so long. Secretary of State Antony Blinken on Monday night again suggesting that Israel needs to show restraint in its response. Let's take a listen, and I'll get your take on the other side.
The president will hear from Israel how it will conduct its operations in a way that minimizes civilian casualties and enables humanitarian assistance to flow to civilians in Gaza in a way that does not benefit Hamas.
So, Ambassador, is Blinken causing Israel to waver over how strongly it should go about seeking to destroy the terrorist group? And is that strategy advantageous?
Well, I think that's why I'm worried that the reason behind President Biden's trip is to get further delay. It's easy to talk about exercising restraint, but it's obviously subject to second guessing. Let's just take the provision of humanitarian assistance. Let's forget the military side for 1 second. It is a bedrock principle of American humanitarian assistance going back to Herbert Hoover in World War I in the Committee for Relief in Belgium two things. Number one, humanitarian assistance does not go to combatants. It goes to non-combatants. And number two, the humanitarian assistance is either delivered by the donors or under strict monitoring by the donors.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.